Once upon a time. They all start like that. Or at least they all end like that. Or they start like that in the end. It's all about the story, isn't it? We all want to hear a story. Tell me a story. Tell me the story, the one where he meets her, or maybe she meets him, and they live happily ever after. Tell me the story. It's all a series of compromises, trying to pull together all of the pieces and the elements and the structures and the incomprehensibilities, trying to make the world right. It had to happen. So it happened, right? The pieces slot themselves together. The story unfolds in time. So this story is about two people who met one day. Simple beginning. It's how it all starts. They met one day. Maybe he sat at her table or she sat at his table. They sat together one day. That's where it all begins, before all of the choices. He didn't know what to make of her. She tapped her foot when she talked. She looked away at unexpected times. That was all right. She didn't know what to make of him either. Of course, these sorts of things don't really change a young couple's thorough fictions about each other. Movies where a man and a woman fall in love and they go to the countryside or to the ocean, and they manage to have some time away from everything that they're afraid of, all of the routines and the stresses of the everyday, how they can be just the two of them. That's what she thought of during the early times. They'd made their own little space amid everything, and nothing could touch them then. But even then, no, wait, it didn't happen this way. It happened a different way. fallen into a pattern. Once is unique. Twice starts to become familiar. And time passes. Time passes and suddenly you wake up in the morning and you follow the same groove in the same way. Shadows of the past line themselves up with the present. There's something very comforting about that. So this is their story. At least it's one story. Still, I miss the alternatives. There are so many other trajectories. The sketches, all of them, want to become real. Easier if there were just one story. Parts that were the story and parts that weren't, and an easy and simple way to tell them apart. If we knew what was supposed to happen, what choices had to be made, perhaps it doesn't matter in the end. But in the middle, or in the beginning, happily ever after. They all end like that, or at least they begin like that, or perhaps they end like that in the beginning. So we also just wanted to thank you, everyone. Thank you, our cast. Thanks for Hacking Arts for having us here. And we just wanted to tell you a couple words about some of the technologies and things behind the little piece you just saw.
So one of the things that we care about and that we're very interested in is incorporating technology in live performance in such a way that it doesn't really take over from traditional practices or the role of creative designers, performers in creating multidisciplinary and interactive works. So we have a number of different things that we've built up and that we're developing over the years that we can put together to create visuals, to create sound, such as the visuals that you saw and some of the music that you heard, that is actually being driven by the performance.
Right, so as everybody probably noticed, I'm wearing special gloves. So we have a performance measurement system as one of the number of systems going on behind this that takes all of the qualities of the movement and uses that as one input into visuals, into sound, into music control. But we also have, what you see up here is a score that we used to create the piece. This is part of Peter's doctoral thesis work that he just completed.
So what you see is actually how we develop the piece. We begin something that reflects traditional practice in our own practice, where we start building up what are the ideas, what are the inspirations, the dialogue, and we start assembling the script, but also what's happening when in terms of the scenography and the staging. And this top part here, this sketch, this painterly representation, is the overall feel and the tone, and it uses the idea of expressive parameters that can then be interpreted by all of the other modalities, the performers, the music, all of that can be influenced by this. So we actually paint the performance into existence.
But it isn't just a passive, okay, here's an image or a sketch or a diagram of the full thing. This actually doubles as control software to help run and talk to, all of the systems talk to each other and interconnect, because we do have this very performance-driven, very score-driven modality, so everything has to intercommunicate and be able to all affect each element.
And respond to
live
performance in time.
So just a little glimpse of the 6 computers behind the scenes.
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you all.